Leading off and pitching for the Explorers, number 8, Alexis Silkwood. Playing shortstop, number 23, Mia Stack. Catching for the Explorers, number 13, Trish Melitello. Batting cleanup, playing second base, Kate Dunn. Number 10, left fielder, Bailey McAfee. Playing third base, number 12, Carrie Shipley. Number 5, and playing first base, Katie Hill. Right fielder, number 17, Mackenzie Youngblood. And center field, number 3, Kaylin Riley. At this time, with the reserve for the Explorers, please join your teammates on the field. For the home team, the Phillies of Morrison High School, who enter the game with a record of 25 wins and 13 losses, please meet head coach Tammy Peter, who has a career record of 334 wins, 118 losses, and 2 ties over 16 years. Assistant coaches, Tiffany Tipton, Kelsey Dykma, Mike Burzma, and Adam Smith. And now the starters for the Phillies. Center fielder, number 12, Sam Sumption. Catching for the Phillies, number 1, Marie Peters. Number 17 and pitching, Christy Wurzma. Cleanup hitter, number 18, shortstop, Caitlin Finneran. Number 6, playing first base, Danielle Strelo. Third baseman, number 3, Allie Hansen. Right field, number 11, Ashley Becker. Number 2, playing second base, Morgan Ammon. Designated player, number 13, Billy Hunter. And number 14, Paula Bush as the left fielder. And at this time, with the reserve for the Phillies, please join your teammates on the field. As the players and coaches wish each other good luck on the field.
Welcome back to the girls class AA state softball tournament here in East Peoria. Jeff Leone along with you in the third place game, moments away here on, once again, the IHSA TV, as it'll feature Alton Marquette 29-6 taking on Morrison at 25-13 on the season. Jeff Leone along with you here. And again, if you just missed some of our earlier coverage here today, the Class 1A state tournament finished up, and Cobden is a 3-time champion in a row, a 3-P for the Apple Knockers as they defeated Lebanon by the score of 2-0 in game number 1 this afternoon. The championship game earlier in the third place game in the morning, United defeated Serena 7-3. Alexis Silkwood, the freshman left-hander, getting ready to get in the batter's box here for Alton Marquette, the visiting team, with head coach Dan Weedman in his 16 years as head coach. On the mound is Christy Wiersma, junior right-hander. The first pitch is low for a ball for, again, the left-handed hitting Silkwood. Again, defensively for Morrison, we have Paula Bush out in left field, Sam Sumption in center, and Ashley Vector in right field. We'll take a look at the infield in just a second. The 1-0 pitch to Silkwood, low for a ball, and the count goes to 2-0. Again, the infield, Allie Hansen at third base, Caitlin Finneran at short, Morgan Ammon at second, and Danielle Strelo at first. The battery again of Wiersma and Marie Dieter. Next pitcher fouled back to the screen, out of play, and the count goes to 2-1. Silkwood on the season hitting at .574, 4 home runs and 32 RBI. Here, 3 umpires for this third place contest working to play. Thomas Holmes out of Victoria, Ted Neff working first base from Mount Vernon, and Chuck Gosnell third base from Macomb. Next pitch is a little bit outside for a ball, and the count goes to 3-1. This is the first of 2 games left here in the Class 2A tournament. Championship game will feature unbeaten Coal City looking for their 40th win of the season. Johnston City, 35-3, will be their opponent. Now the 3-1 pitch to Silkwood and fouled off. Out of play, and the count goes full now, 3-2. Batting order now for Coach Weedman. Mia Stack will bat second and play shortstop. Trish Militello doing the catching and batting third. Second baseman Kate Dunn will bat fourth. Bailey McAfee out in left field batting fifth. Payout pitch to Silkwood, a line drive, base hit over to the shortstop's head and finner in that time of Morrison. And on with a base hit to lead things off here for Alton Marquette. It's Silkwood. 6th will be Carrie Shipley, the third baseman. 7th will be Katie Hill, the first baseman. Batting 8th will be Mackenzie Youngblood, the right fielder, and Kaylin Biley out in center field and batting 9th. So a bunt attempt is going to be bunted foul, third base side for Stack, and the count goes to 0-1. Stack once again hitting at .297, no home runs and 28 RBI. Definitely a loyal fan out in right field as he's holding up the Alton Marquette flag out there and right by himself out there as he's a loyal fan rooting the Explorers on here in this third place game. Now the next pitch on its way, bunted and bunted foul. And again, the count goes even at 1-1. Sunshine is out here for this third place game. Down there, the third base coach and head coach, Dan Weedman, in his 16th year as head coach of Alton Marquette, going through the signs now. Didn't pick up what he wanted. Maybe we'll see a bunt attempt now again by Stack. First base is Silkwood. Next pitch on its way. That's a ground ball foul off the fence in the third base side, and the count goes to 1-2. We're hoping this inclement weather we had earlier today, which we had to shorten the third place game in the Class 1A tournament to 5 innings because of the wet field, with United winning that ball game 7-3. Now the 1-2 pitch to Stack on its way. High for a ball. Silkwood think about going that time, but then gets back on the base, and the count even at 2-2. Alton Marquette coming up in the short end of things against Coal City yesterday. 4-0 the final score. And Johnston City defeated Morrison 3-2. Now the next pitch by Wiersma on its way, and that's chopped foul back behind home plate to the left. Silk would have to go back to first base. He was running on the play. We'll take a look at some of the other finals we have in IHSA sports activities going on around the state here in this first inning as we have time. Again, the right-handed hitter Mia Stack, the sophomore shortstop, back in the box. The count even at 1-2, or make that 1-2, excuse me. Now the next pitch is high. Now there goes Silkwood down to second base, and she is going to be safe. Stolen base for Alexis Silkwood that time. She took off running. And now with the count 2-2, she has all kinds of dust on that uniform she has right now out there sliding into second base. The count even at, oh, wait a minute now.
Stack walked off.
Stack once again is on second base still. Did they call that a strike? Must have been, the last pitch was a strike. Must have been one out in the inning. Could have been a strikeout. So one out in the inning. Apparently that was a strikeout that time. The pitch looked a little bit inside, but the plate umpire called it a strike. So Stack is out on a call strike. One out, and Silkwood is down at second. That brings up, again, Militello. The first pitch is a little high for a ball. Nope, going to be a call strike. So a little bit of a delayed call strike right now with plate umpire Thomas Holmes of Victoria making the call that time. I had thought he'd called it a ball, but apparently raised his right arm to count 0-1 on Militello. Down at second base is Silkwood. Now the next pitch by Wiersma on its way. There's a line drive into center field coming in, making the running catch. Assumption throw to second base, but back in time is Silkwood. So Militello flies out, lines it to center field for the second out in the inning. That brings up Kate Dunn, the sophomore second baseman. Dunn on the season hitting at .382 with no home runs and 28 RBI. So Silkwood, who led off the ballgame with a base hit, still down at second with 2 outs after a strikeout and a flyout line to center field. 2 outs, and Dunn steps in. Wiersma, 12-8 on the season, an ERA 1.27 coming in. Takes the first pitch that time by Dunn. It is high for a ball, and to count 1-0 on Katie Dunn. Bailey McAfee, the freshman left fielder, will follow here for Alton Marquette. No score here in the top of the first of our third place game in Class 2A girls softball. Next pitch inside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-0. Championship game scheduled to begin around 7 o'clock. And again, you can watch it right here on the IHSA TV from East Peoria. Turn to be out, a beautiful afternoon with some sunshine and warmer temperatures. Now the 2-0 pitch. And that's going to be a ball. And the count goes to 3-0. Haddo No, wait a minute. Now he called it a strike. He didn't even raise his arm that time. The count goes to 2-1. That's going to be tough to call here. I can't hear him. Now the next pitch, line drive, foul. And the count goes to 2-2. 2-2, 2 outs. I think there is a question also with head coach Dan Weedman what the count was. Now he's going to go down to talk with his batter and Kate Dunn saying the count's 2-2. So 2-2 to count on Dunn. Down at second base is Silkwood. 2 outs in the inning. Dunn steps back in the batter's box now, the right-handed hitter. Now the 2-2 pitch on its way. Ground ball up the middle. That may get through and does for a base hit. Here comes Silkwood rounding third base. There's going to be a play at the plate. The throw from center, and she is going to be safe. She went around a tag. On a good sliding round tag by Silkwood, she went head first, and her right arm and hand then hit the plate and got around the catcher, and Marie Dieter, and an RBI single that time by Kate Dunn. Dunn took second base on the throw coming back in, and it's a 1-0 lead by Alton Marquette here in this ball game with Morrison once again here in the top of the first inning. That brings up Bailey McAfee, the freshman left fielder. McAfee on the season coming in hitting at .265, no home runs and 15 RBI, so a big hit that time to get Alton Marquette on the scoreboard here. A single by Kate Dunn. So McAfee, once again, first pitch to her and a swing and a miss around her eyebrows that time, and the count goes to 0-1. 1-0 your score. As 2 singles in the inning here for Alton Marquette. Now Wiersma back into the windup and a pitch on its way, and that is going to be a strike. And the count now goes to 0-2 now on McAfee. 2 outs in the inning, down at second, an RBI single by Dunn. 1-0 Alton Marquette, now the 0-2 pitch. Going to be a little low for a ball. Count goes to 1-2. Coal City and Johnston City will follow in our championship game in 2A. Cobden won their 3rd straight title earlier this afternoon. Now long drive deep left field. That's going to be pulled foul. The count remains at 1-2. Cobden finished with a 33-4 record. Lebanon with a 35-5 record. Again, United took 3rd place, so 3 championships in a row for the outstanding girls softball program of Cobden. Now the 1-2 pitch. That's fouled back to the screen out of play. Looking at these 2 teams have done so far. Again, Alton Marquette has lost 6 games coming in, including, of course, yesterday evening's ball game against Coal City 4-0, where Coal City hit them with a 4 spot in at the top of the 7th inning. Now the 1-2 pitch to McAfee. Swing and a miss as Wiersma gets her 2nd strikeout once again in the inning. But again, Alton Marquette takes the lead early here. They get 1 run on 2 hits. There are no errors and 1 left on base after a half inning to play in our 3rd place game in Class 2A softball. It is Alton Marquette 1 and Morrison nothing. You're watching, again, the championship game coming up later this evening. Right now, the 3rd place game here in East Peoria on the IHSA TV. Freshman left-handed pitch, Alexis Silkwood on the mound, 28-5 on the season, an outstanding ERA of under 1 as she had shut down Coal City for 6 innings until they got to her to 4 runs in the 7th last night. So it'll be interesting to see how the little left-hander does here against his Morrison club. Sam Sumption leading things off, junior center fielder for this Morrison club. Sumption comes in averaging .380 on the season, 5 home runs, 25 RBI, and takes the first pitch a strike, and the count goes 0-1. Again, only a freshman on the mound for Alexis Silkwood, but again with 28 wins coming into this one. 28 wins out of the 29 that Alton Marquette has. Now the next pitch on its way, swing and a miss. And the count goes to 0-2 now on Sumption. Now the next pitch on its way, a little high and outside for a ball, and the count goes to 1-2 on Sumption. Now looking in, getting a sign. Now the 1-2 pitch to Sumption is on its way, a little bit outside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-2. Marie Dieter, junior catcher, will follow then Christy Wiersma, the junior pitcher, following that in the batting order for Morrison. We'll take a look at the defense for Alton Marquette in a second here. Now the 2-2 pitch to Sumption by Silkwood is fouled off to the first base side out of play. I get out in left field, Bailey McAfee. Center fielder will be Kaylin Biley. Mackenzie Youngblood in right field. Carrie Shipley at third, Mia Stack at short, the second baseman Kate Dunn, and Katie Hill at first, a battery of Silkwood and Trish Militello. Again, Sam Sumption up there at the plate. 2-2 count for Morrison. Down 1-0 here in the first. Got her swinging and missing a high fastball that time. 1 out in the inning. First strikeout by the left-hander. Following Dieter and Wiersma, batting fourth will be Caitlin Fitterin for Morrison. Then comes Danielle Strelo. Allie Hansen. Batting seventh will be Ashley Vector. Morgan Ammon will bat eighth. And then Billie Jean Connor will bat ninth. That on the next pitch, ground ball hit to the shortstop. Nice play that time by Stack, and throws out the batter and Marie Dieter for the second out in the inning. So 2 outs here for Morrison in the bottom of the first inning. 1-0 right now. Alton Marquette up on top. Christy Wiersma, the junior pitcher, will step to the batter's box. Wiersma on the season that is, hitting .492, 9 home runs, 31 RBI for the right-hander. Silkwood now looks in, gets her sign from Militello. Now timeout is called as Wiersma says, wait a minute, she took too long. So now Wiersma gets back in the batter's box. Silkwood now goes off the rubber, now gets back on it. 1-0 Alton Marquette here in the bottom of the first inning. Now the left-hander back into the windup, and a pitch on its way. There's a drive in the left center field. No one's going to get that one. That's going to go all the way to the fence on one hop for extra bases. Going to second is Wiersma. Stops right there with a double. So Wiersma hits the first pitch, one hopper in the left center field for a double. And that's the first hit for Morrison here this afternoon. And that'll bring up now Caitlin Finneran, the freshman shortstop. So a 2-out double by Wiersma as she steps down at second base. And again, Finneran steps to the batter's box, hitting at .427 that is, with 3 home runs and 29 RBI. Now the first pitch on its way by Silkwood. That's on the outside corner for a call strike, and the count goes 0-1. Danielle Strelo, the first baseman, on deck. Morrison trying to get a 2-out rally here with a runner down at second. Finneran, the shortstop, in your batter's box, now only a freshman. Silkwood now, also a freshman, back into the windup, slowly in the windup now. Here she goes, and now the pitch on its way, and that's going to be a little low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-1. She sometimes goes fast. This time she goes awful slow, and then finally unloads it, trying to get the timing off the batter. Silkwood started again, now stops. Now back in the windup, now brings it on home, and that just missed outside for a ball. Nope, going to call a strike in the outside corner, and the count goes to 1-2. So 1-2 to count on Finneran with 2 outs here. Runner down at second base is Wiersma, who had a 2-out double. Silkwood now likes what she sees again, back at the windup. The 1-2 pitch on its way off speed. A little line drive, short center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Here comes the runner around third base, and Wiersma, she's going to score, and we're tied at 1-1. And a single that time by Finneran on a 1-2 count. She takes second base on the throw coming in, and Morrison has tied it up. Now at 1-1. So nice bit of hitting on the off-speed pitch. Finneran kept her way back and swatted it into center field for a base hit. Wiersma, of course, running on the play with there being 2 outs, so a double and a single, and Morrison has tied it up at 1 here against Alton Marquette. That'll bring up Danielle Strelo, the first baseman for the Phillies, who come in with a record of 25-13. There's a question mark on their record, and we corrected it, and 25-13 on the season. Strelo hitting at .336, 2 home runs, 31 RBI. As they get a new softball out there on the mound, as Alexis Silkwood says, I want something new to throw, as again we're tied at 1-1 here in the first inning. Silkwood only a 5-4 out there, leadoff hitter and number 1 pitcher for this Explorers Ball Club. Now the first pitch on its way to Strelo, and Strelo once again takes it low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Danielle Strelo, only a junior, playing at first base. Both knees are wrapped out there. One with a black wrapping, the other just a clear almost wrapping out there. Now the 1-0 pitch to Strelo on its way. It takes it inside, almost went after it. That's going to be a call strike, and the count goes even at 1-1. We're trying to get the routine for Thomas Holmes, the plate umpire, out of Victoria, but he's very slow with the right arm when he calls a strike. Count 1-1 on Strelo. Runner down at second, a run in for Morrison. We're tied 1-1 here in the bottom of the first. Next pitch on its way. There's a chopper, 1 hopper, knocked down by Silkwood. The pitcher throws to first base in time, and that retires the side here for Morrison. But Again, Morrison comes back and ties it up here in the bottom of the first inning in our third place game. 1 run on a couple of hits. There were no errors and 1 left on base. So after 1 inning to play in our third place contest here in the Class 2A state softball tournament, all tied up 1-1 between Alton, Marquette, and Morrison. You're watching, again, softball from East Peoria on the IHSA TV. And there's a loyal fan out there in right field holding up the Alton Marquette flag out there by himself. There he is. He's been doing that the entire game here in the third place. He's by himself out there in the bleachers in right field. He must have bought some good price for those seats out there. In any case, Kerry Shipley steps in for Alton Marquette. And so once again takes the first pitch a little low for a ball. 1-0 on Shipley, the senior third baseman, followed by Katie Hill and then Mackenzie Youngblood. Christy Wiersma working her second inning for Morrison now. Kind of a half swing that time and a miss by Shipley, and the count even at 1-1. Tied at 1 here in the top of the second, third place game. And the girls Class 2A state softball tournament. Watching it right here on IHSA TV. Count 1-1 on Shipley. Next pitch, Wiersma, liner foul. Look out! It hit the top of the fence that time and almost nailed one of the local students down there for Morrison. Almost gave him a buzz haircut at the same time. The count now 1-2. That ball hit the top of the railing that time. On a line drive hit by Shipley, and the student was not paying much attention at the time. Now the pitch is right on the outside corner, call strike 3, and Shipley is caught looking 1 out in the inning. And that is the third strikeout once again in the ball game. So 1 out, third strikeout for Wiersma. That brings up Katie Hill, the senior first baseman. Hill hitting on the year at 181 with 12 RBI. Takes the first pitch. That's a strike, and the count goes 0-1. On deck, a number 8 hitter, Mackenzie Youngblood, a sophomore right fielder for this Alton Marquette team. A lot of these teams down here this year with underclassmen that may be coming back next year. Next pitch, ground ball hit to the shortstop. Fielded that time by Finneran. Double pumps, but she's got time and throws the first base 2 away. So 2 up and 2 down here for Alton Marquette here in the top of the second inning. That'll bring up Mackenzie Youngblood, the right fielder. Youngblood hitting at .258 on the season. No home runs, but 6 RBI. Number 8 in the batting order for Dan Weedman in his 16th year as head coach at Alton Marquette. First pitch on its way, and it's bunted in front of home plate. 1 hop and scooped up by the pitcher. Throw to first base, not in time. That'll be a base hit. As Youngblood bunts it on 2 outs in the inning, and a 1-hop scoop that time by Wiersma, and couldn't get the ball out of her glove, and then not in time for first base. That'll be a base hit for Youngblood, the third hit of the ball game now for Alton Marquette, and that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, and Kaylin Biley. Biley, a senior center fielder, steps to the batter's box. Biley hitting at .433 with a couple home runs and 14 RBI on the season. So 2 outs, runner at first base for Alton Marquette. Takes the first pitch a little low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Top of the order as Alexis Silkwood is on deck. 1-0 to count on Biley. At first base is Youngblood. Now the next pitch is swing and a miss. And a count even at 1-1. Alton Marquette trying to get a 2-out rally going here in the top of the second. We're tied at 1-1 with Marquette and Morrison. Now Wiersma's next pitch on its way, swing and a miss again. That time around her eyebrows, and the count goes to 1-2. I think Kaylin Biley asked the plate umpire if that was a strike or not, and I think he kind of shook his head a little bit, saying probably not. 1-2 count on Biley. Now Wiersma's pitch on its way, and that's going to be low. There goes the runner down to second on a steal, and standing up, didn't slide that time, but she is still safe as Youngblood with a stolen base, and the count goes to 2-2 now on Biley. Normally they slide when they steal second. This time she stood up and was getting there anyhow, but it was closer than what I'm sure she wanted to, and will be informed by the coaching staff. You got to slide on a play like that. Count 2-2 on Biley with Youngblood down at second. Next pitch on its way. That hit her that time on the wrist or in the elbow. I think it hit her in the elbow or in the forearm area. In any case, she goes down to first base, hit her in the left arm. So on a 2-2 pitch, Biley gets hit. So it's first and second with 2 outs, and that brings up the top of the order. Alexis Silkwood can once again help her own cause out. She had a base hit over the shortstop's head and Finneran her first time up. So Silkwood, the freshman left-hander, steps to the batter's box. First and second, 2 outs in the inning. First pitch on its way. That's going to be a call strike on the outside corner, and the count goes to 0-1 on Silkwood with Mia Stack on deck. 1-1 your score, top of the second in our third place game in Class 2A softball. Wiersma back into the windup, ground ball right back to her. Easy play, throw to first base, and that retires the side, and Silkwood is retired for the final out of the inning here in the second. No runs on one hit. There are no errors and 2 left on base. They've left 3 so far in the first couple innings of play. We go to the bottom half of the second inning. All tied up. Morrison 1 and Alton Marquette 1. You're listening to the girls Class 2A state softball tournament third place game and watching it completely here on IHSA TV from East Peoria. As you can see, one of the assistant coaches has gone a different wardrobe there in the dugout for Morrison, as she's gone with the wig hairdo for Morrison, hoping to get a rally going here. As Silkwood on the mound, the left-hander, first pitch, a little pop-up behind home plate and out of play, and the count goes to 0-1 on Allie Hansen. Hansen, a junior third baseman, batting here for Morrison. Hansen and hitting on the season at .264 with 1 home run and 23 RBI. 1-1. We're in the bottom of the second inning. Now next pitch by Silkwood on its way, and that's on the outside corner for a call strike. And the count goes to 0-2 now on Hansen. She'll be followed by Ashley Vector and Morgan Ammon. The 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up. 1-1 the score here in the bottom of the second inning. Third place game in 2A softball. Silkwood's next pitch on its way. High, goes back to the screen off the glass. Off the glove, I should say, of Trish Militello that time. Silkwood only a freshman, so you can expect her once again to be pitching a lot of softball coming up over the next 3 years for Alton Marquette with those shades and ponytail look. Now the 1-2 pitch on its way. I guess you'd call it braids. I guess you could call it with the hairdo. And the headband on at the same time. Count 2-2. She's thrown a lot of innings so far through this 2010 season. Next pitch by Silkwood on its way, and that is a foul tip, and still alive at the plate is Hansen. Before this semifinal game yesterday, she had thrown 216 innings, 435 strikeouts, and 36 walks. She had a shutout against a top team in 2A in Coal City, shut them out for 6 innings before the Lady Kohlers got alive with the bats and scored 4 against her in the 7th. Now the 2-2 pitch to Hansen on its way. That's fouled off again as she stays alive in the count at 2-2. Bottom of the second inning, tied at 1 between Morrison and Alton Marquette. Championship game will follow about 7 o'clock. As you're watching coverage here on the IHSA TV, it'll feature Coal City against Johnston City. Now the 2-2 pitch by Silkwood has a little pop-up down the left field line, may drop in, and it does for a base hit. So Morrison gets their leadoff hitter on, and Hansen, little blue pit down the left field line, falling in front of the left fielder Bailey McAfee. And Hansen's at first base with nobody out, and Ashley Vector, the senior right fielder, will come to the batter's box. Morrison's third hit of the ball game. So let's see if we get a bunt attempt by Vector here. Third baseman Kerry Shipley believes that's going to be the case for Alton Marquette. Bottom of the second inning, tied at 1 between Morrison and Marquette. Silkwood now into the windup. Now the first pitch on its way is going to be bunted to first base. Oh, just off the glove of Hill that time. She stuck her mid out and ricocheted off the top of the leather, and the count goes to 0-1 now on Vector. Morgan Ammon on deck, and then Billie Jean Connor. 7, 8, 9 hitters will be facing Silkwood here with a runner at first base, Hansen, and nobody out. Again, Cobden won the Class 1A championship for the 3rd year in a row earlier today. Now the bunt attempt is going to be pulled back and takes it outside for a ball. 1-1 to count. They defeated Lebanon 2-0 in our last ball game that we had. A 2-run homer in the 4th inning by Taylor Orsborn, and that was the difference of the ball game. Left center field, and they said it barely got over, but barely is enough for them for a championship. Now the 1-1 pitch bunted and out of play. That was more of kind of protecting herself at the same time and trying to bunt it. As Silkwood came in high and right at the body of Vector, and she bunted it away, trying to protect herself up there at home plate. Now she's down 1-2 in the count with Hansen at first base, nobody out here in the bottom of the second inning. Morrison and Alton Marquette tied at 1. Now the 1-2 pitch on its way. It just missed outside for a ball, and the count goes even at 2-2. Morgan Ammon, the second baseman, on deck for Morrison. Silkwood grabs a lot of dust out there when she pitches, trying to keep her hands as much moisture off it as she can. Now the 2-2 pitch to Vector on its way, and that's going to be a little bit outside for a ball. The count goes to 3-2 now on the senior right fielder. Let's see now if Tammy Dieter, the head coach, 16 years at Morrison, has the runner going here with nobody out. Maybe a little hit and run with the payoff pitch coming up. Silkwood now into the windup. The 3-2 pitch on its way. Got her swinging a miss on a high fastball. That time went away. Runner was not going. 1 out in the inning. Strikeout number 2 in the ball game for the left-hander in Silkwood, and that'll bring up Morgan Ammon. Ammon hitting at .278, no home runs and a couple RBI. Ammon, a small target up there at home plate, as you see Tammy Dieter, third base coach there. First pitch is going to be bunted on the first base line. That's going to be picked up foul by Hill. Almost a collision between Hill and the batter, Ammon, that time along the first base line. So they'll have to do it over again, as you see number 2 getting back in the batter's box. Not a very big girl up there at home plate. But again, Ammon only a sophomore as he steps back in the batter's box. Now Silkwood back into the windup, and the next pitch on its way, and that's going to be a strike on the outside corner. The count goes to 0-2 now on Ammon. So now she's behind in the count with 1 out here in the inning, so she won't be bunting, you wouldn't think, at this time. But the third baseman, Shipley, is still close, thinking possibly a bunt. Now the 0-2 pitch on its way. Got her, swing and a miss, and down goes Hammond. Second out in the inning, second strikeout, third in the ball game for Silkwood, and that'll bring up Billie Jean Connor. Connor had a big single last night to cut into the lead of 3-1 to 3-2 at the time, but was stranded out there. She's got a couple RBIs on the season. First pitch by Silkwood on its way. That's a ground ball hit sharply to shortstop Stack. Goes the second for the force, and right there is the second baseman done. And that retires the side here for Morrison. So a leadoff single is wasted for the Phillies here in the bottom of the second inning. No runs on 1 hit. There were no errors and nobody left on base. At the end of 2 innings of play, we're all even up. It's Alton Marquette 1 and Morrison 1. You're watching the third place action from the girls Class 2A state softball tournament on IHSA TV in East Peoria. Top half of the 30 and all tied at 1 here in our third place game in Class 2A softball for the girls of Illinois. That'll be Christy Wiersma working her third inning now for the Phillies of Morrison. She'll be facing 2, 3, 4 hitters coming up in the batting order for Alton Marquette. Mia Stack followed by Trish Militello, then Kate Dunn. Anybody gets on Bailey McAfee. 1 run, 3 hits for both of these two teams as we head to the third inning. Wiersma now looks in, gets her sign from Dieter. Now the first pitch, there's a high fly ball, left field. That may get out of here, and it's going to go. If it's fair or not, it's a fair ball, and it's a home run. Wait a minute now. It is a home run. It is called fair. I was waiting for the umpire, and the umpire on the outside outfield area did call a solo home run by Stack, and it's 2-1. So Mia Stack hits a solo home run down the left field line. I was waiting for the plate umpire, looked at him, and then saw the third base umpire run down there and give the call. It did stay fair, and it's a 2-1 ball game. So once again, there's kind of a hesitation by the fans a little bit, thinking, wait a minute, is that foul or is it fair? And it's a fair, and it's a home run. And Stack with the home run, getting her first RBI of the night for Mia Stack. Stack, by the way, now, that was her first home run of the season. How about that? So the first home run of the season by Stack puts Alton Marquette up by the final score right now of 2-1, with Trish Militello stepping in here in the batter's box. First pitch to her on its way, high for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Militello flew out to the center fielder her first time up. So a long drive down the left field line and barely stayed fair for the home run. Now next pitch by Wiersma on its way, high again, and the count goes to 2-0. Maybe that home run has shooken her up a little bit here. Stack in there in the batter's box, the senior catcher. Got the chin trap ready to go on that helmet. Now the 2-0 pitch on its way, and that's a little bit outside, but it's going to be a call strike on the corner, and the count goes to 2-1 now, and Militello with Dunn on deck. 2-1 out of them, or make that Alton Marquette up on top here against Morrison. Next pitch on its way, and that's a little pop-up in the infield. The first baseman can't get there in time in foul territory. And Danielle Strelo, and the count even at 2-2 now on Militello. 2-1 your score. Alton Marquette up on top against Morrison here in the top of the third inning. Militello now back in the box. Now the next pitch on its way, and that's a ground. The ball right in front of home plate. It was dropped. Apparently did not hit it that time, and a drop third strike. And again, Militello's out, 1 away. I thought maybe she got a piece of it, and then the umpire said no, she didn't hit it. And it was dropped by the catcher, but an easy play by Dieter, 1 out in the inning. And strikeout now, number 3 in the ball game for Militello, going down as the 3rd strikeout. 1 out in the inning. Kate Dunn, the sophomore second baseman, singled her first time up, will be your hitter. Now the first pitch on its way. That's going to be a strike on the outside corner. The count goes to 0-1 on Dunn with Bailey McAfee on deck. A run in on the solo home run by Stack, making it a 2-1 ball game. Alton Marquette leading Morrison. Now the next pitch by Wiersma on its way, high for a ball. The count goes even at 1-1. 1-1 the count, 1 out in the inning. 2-1, Alton Marquette up on top. Now the next pitch on its way by Wiersma, that's fouled off to the right of home plate. The count goes to 1-2 on Dunn. Sun has been in and out here the last few minutes here at the ballpark, but again, no threat of any rain as we speak right now. Count of 1-2 on Dunn. Now the next pitch on its way. Got her way over her head, dropped out again by the catcher, but Dieter has enough time to throw the first 2 away. So 2 outs in the inning, 4 strikeouts now for Wiersma, and that'll leave it up to Bailey McAfee, the freshman left fielder, who struck out her first time up to keep this inning going. Top of the 3rd, 2-1, Alton Marquette leading Morrison. The home run by Stack here in the inning has got the Explorers back in the lead. Wiersma now looks in, gets her sign from Dieter. Now the first pitch by the right-hander on its way. It is high for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Carrie Shipley, the senior third baseman, is on deck. Wiersma now back into the windup. Now the 1-0 pitch. That's fouled off out of play. Behind home plate, and the count goes even at 1-1. Championship game will follow about 7 o'clock. Coal City 39-0. Johnston City 35-3. Coal City trying to get that 40th win of the season. Hasn't been a lot of teams that have won 40 games in the championship. Next pitch, a swing and a miss, and the count 1-2. Olean did it in 2006. Nashville won 41 games in 2001. And Stanford Olympia won 41 games in 2003. Next pitch on its way, high for a ball, and the count 2-2. Teams that have gone unbeaten include that Moline team, but they tied 1 game in 2006, 40-0-1. They could be the first team to win 40 games and be unbeaten and not have a tie as Coal City. Next pitch on its way, swing and a miss. And striking out the side that time is Christy Wiersma for the Morrison Philly. That gives her 5 strikeouts in the ball game. But again, a solo home run by Stack to lead the inning off. 1 run on 1 hit. No errors and nobody left. We go to the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Alton Marquette leads at 2-1. That's 2-1 over Morrison. As you're listening to the 3rd place game of the girls Class 2A state softball tournament and watching it right here on the IHSA TV in East Peoria. Fans sitting on the side of the hill in left field, wearing those lime green shirts that, of course, Morrison, some of the coaching staff has got on, is taking a strike is once again for Morrison. 0-1 to count on Sumption, the leadoff hitter. 2-1, Alton Marquette up on top. Sumption 0-for-1, struck out her first time up. Next pitch, a little high for a ball to count 1-1. Once again, a lot of the fans just sitting on the side of the hill watching today's game out in right field and in left field. Now the count 1-1 on Sumption. Now the next pitch by Silkwood on its way. That's fouled off just to the right of home plate, off the screen. The count goes to 1-2. This used to be a gravel pit area, as you see the outfield, and some of the fans that can just sit on the side of the hill and watch the game. There's a couple right there just sitting in the grass enjoying themselves, watching the game, getting a little sun at the same time. 1-2 to count. Next pitch a little outside for a ball. Count even at 2-2. Or if you want to be a local fan, you can sit behind your own team with the bleachers set behind each of the dugouts. Silkwood on the mound, the freshman, with a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Now the 2-2 pitch to the leadoff hitter Sam Sumption for Morrison is on its way. Almost went after, a little high off the glove of Militello that time, and the count goes full at 3-2. Dieter and Wiersma will follow here in the bottom of the 3rd inning for Morrison, trailing right now by the score 2-1. Home run by Mia Stack, the shortstop, has put Alton Marquette up by a run here in the 3rd inning. Now the payoff pitch from Silkwood is on its way, and that's just outside. Call, strike 3. See you later, one away. Late call that time, but it is a strike, 1 out in the inning. Silkwood picking up her 4th strikeout of the ball game. That'll bring up Maria. I'll make that Marie Dieter. Dieter, the junior catcher. Dieter grounded out to the shortstop stacker first time up. 0 for 1 in the ball game. Silkwood now back into the windup, and the first pitch on its way. That is going to be just inside for a ball. The count goes to 1-0. 1-0 to count on Dieter. Christy Wiersma on deck. Silkwood now back into the windup, and a pitch on its way, and that just misses outside, and the count goes to 2-0. 2-1. Alton Marquette up on top against Morrison here in the bottom of the 3rd inning of our 7-inning game. Silkwood now gets her sign from Militello, who looks in the dugout, getting the correct pitch from the coaching staff. Now the 2-0 pitch on its way. There's a ground ball hit to the second baseman on a 3-hopper. Dunn throws the first 2 away. So 2 outs in the inning. And that'll leave it up to Christy Wiersma, who doubled and scored back in the 1st inning. The only run for Morrison, as they went double single by her and Finneran to get the only run in the ball game. And all that came after 2 outs. So let's see if they can get a 2-out rally here now in the bottom of the 3rd inning. Silkwood now looks in as Militello gets a sign from the dugout. Now the first pitch on its way, a little low for a ball. You can see Militello look into the dugout after each pitch. There she goes right now. We'll get a look at that in just a second. You can see she's trying to get the signal from the coaching staff. Then she relays it to Silkwood what pitch they want to see. Now a very slow windup now for Silkwood. Now brings it on home. Outside for a ball, and the count goes to 2-0. There she is. Watch her there. She looks in the dugout. Sees what pitch they want from the dugout from the coaching staff. Now she relates it to Silkwood. Now the 2-0 count is on its way, and that's going to be inside, but it's going to be a call strike, and the count goes to 2-1. So she's not calling the game. The coaching staff is. And she gets the signals. There's a couple of coaches right at the end of the dugout area to give her the signal. Now the 2-1 pitch on its way. That's a high fly ball, deep center field, drifting back, raking a one-handed catch and running into the fence and holding on to it is Biley that time. Kaylin Biley with a great catch right in front of the fence and then runs into it. But again, a little padding out there prevented from any injury, and a nice running catch to end the inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left for Morrison. At the end of 3 innings of play, Alton Marquette with a 2-1 lead over Morrison in our 3rd place game. Again, you're watching the Class 2A State Softball Tournament on the IHSA TV in East Peoria. Well, you're a student at Alton Marquette. Get a little face painting, I should say, on your cheeks. As you see a name of Long, one of the players, of course, for this club. And again, you want to once again root for your favorite Alton Marquette fan, and again a little painting on the arms at the same time. Of course, that all comes off in the wash, as they say. We go to the top half of the 4th inning. Alton Marquette with a 2-1 advantage. A lot of the student sections of the teams here, the fans paint their faces and bodies at times. Now the first pitch to Shipley on its way, and a swing and a miss by Carrie Shipley, and the count goes 0-1. Shipley struck out her first time up. It'll be Shipley, Katie Hill, and then Mackenzie Youngblood. 6, 7, 8 hitters coming up for Alton Marquette. Next pitch, a little pop-up foul left side out of play, and the count goes to 0-2. Top of the 4th inning of our 3rd place game here tonight. Actually, I guess it's this evening here, early, a little bit past 5 o'clock. Alton Marquette with a 2-1 lead. Championship game coming up at 7, Coal City and Johnston City. You can watch it right here on the IHSA TV. Now the 0-2 pitch. Line drive, left field. That may be trouble, and that's going to be in the corner for extra bases for Shipley. Rounds first. She's headed for second. Throw comes back in. Not in time. A sliding double that time by Carrie Shipley to start things off for Alton Marquette here in the top of the 4th inning. And for Alton Marquette, that's her 5th hit of the ball game. So leadoff double by Shipley as she knocked it down into the corner in the left field area. Now a pinch runner also coming in to the ball game for Alton Marquette. It'll be number 20 checking into the contest, and that'll be Kelly Winkler. So Kelly Winkler comes into the ball game as a pinch runner. So Kelly Winkler in the contest. Or as you want to call her, a courtesy runner or a pinch runner. Winkler checks into the contest, only a freshman, and she's in the ball game. She's down at second base with nobody out. Again, stay with us right after the ball game. There'll be the presentations of the third and fourth place trophies and medallions, and we'll have that ceremony right here on the IHSA TV. So stay with us here right after the ball game is completed. First pitch is bunted by Hill in front of home plate, only play to first base. They get the runner to third. Good play that time as Winkler goes to third base. Sacrifice bunt. Once again, credited to Katie Hill, 1 out in the inning. Winkler's at third base, and that'll bring up Mackenzie Youngblood, who singled her first time up. So she is 1 for 1 here. And boy, Hanson at third base is playing really in right now, thinking a possible bunt here at the number 8 hitter in the lineup. Winkler down at third base. Wiersma down to wind up first pitch. Now pulls the bunt back, goes off the glove of the Dieter to catch where the runner can't advance. And the count goes to 1-0. So Youngblood was talking about and thinking about bunting that time, but pulled the bat back thinking it was not a strike. He called it a strike though. I wish he'd raise his arm sometimes when there's a strike. That's what you normally do. Next pitch is a strike and the count goes to 0-2. I watched him specifically that time and no arm raised up that time. And the count goes to 0-2. Yeah. 0-2 the count. 1 out in the inning. Next pitch on its way. Got her. 3 pitches and she's gone 2 away. 2 outs in the inning with Youngblood once again going down. 6 strikeouts now in the ball game for the right-hander Christy Wiersma. 2 outs in the inning. Down at third base is Shipley, and that'll bring up now Kaylin Biley, the center fielder. Biley hit by a pitcher her first time up. First pitch on its way. That's fouled off back to the screen. That count goes to 0-1. Down at third base, the courtesy runner and Kelly Winkler with 2 outs in the inning. 0-1 to count on Biley with the top of the order, Alexis Silkwood on deck. Now Wiersma's next pitch on its way, a little high for a ball. And the count goes 1-1. He's doing a good job calling balls and strikes, but sometimes it's tough to tell what it is. But he's very, very consistent here tonight. Count 1-1 on Biley. Now the next pitch on its way, and that's a swing and a miss. And the count goes now to 1-2 on Biley with the runner down at third base and Shipley. 2 outs in the inning, top of the 4th inning, 2-1 your score. Now Wiersma's next pitch on its way, a little high for a ball. Count goes even now at 2-2. Winkler down at third base, the courtesy runner here for Alton Marquette here in the top of the 4th. Wiersma now looks in, gets her sign from Dieter. Now the 2-2 pitch to Biley is on its way, and that is going to be a call. Strike 3 on the outside corner, and that retires the side. So a wasted leadoff double for Alton Marquette here in the top of the 4th inning. No runs on 1 hit. No errors and 1 left on base. We go to the bottom half of the 4th inning, and Alton Marquette still up top, 2-1 over Morrison. Again, you're watching the Class 2A third place game in girls softball on the IHSA TV in East Peoria. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning, and let me correct in that. Wiersma now with 8 strikeouts in the ball game after 4 innings of play, and again it is a 2-1 ball game. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Morrison with Kaylin Finneran to lead it off. Singled her first time up against Silkwood. First pitch is a swing and a foul back to the screen. The count goes 0-1. Finneran along with Danielle Strelo and Allie Hansen, the 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming up. Bottom of the 4th inning, 2-1 your score. Alton Marquette leading right now. The difference, a home run by shortstop Mia Stack. 0-1 count on Finneran. Next pitch by Silkwood, and that barely hit the corner. And it's a little bit outside for a ball, and the count goes even at 1-1. And Finneran, the freshman shortstop, up for Morrison here in the bottom of the 4th of our 7th inning game in our third place contest here in East Peoria. Next pitch on its way, and that's going to be a little high for a ball. And the count goes to 2-1 now on Finneran. Silkwood now looks in, gets her sign from Militello, who got it from the dugout. Now good view of home plate there. The next pitch on its way, and that goes back to the screen inside for a ball, and the count goes to 3-1. Finneran trying to get on base here. Morrison down 2-1 here in the bottom of the 4th inning. The Phillies came in with a 25-13 record, 29-6 for Alton Marquette. 3-1 to count on Finneran. Next pitch on its way by Silkwood. That's going to be high for ball 4. And that is her first walk of the ball game here today. So down to first base is Finneran with nobody out for Morrison, and Danielle Strelo, who grounded out the first time up, will be your hitter. Followed by Hansen and Vector. So we've got 5, 6, and 7 hitters coming up for Morrison here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Strelo looked like she's going to bunt, but she'll probably pull it back. Let's see what happens here. Now the first pitch by Silkwood. No, she's going to bunt it in the air. It's going to be almost caught by the first baseman right in front of Katie Hill, who couldn't make the catch. And the count goes to 0-1. 0-1 to count here in the bottom of the 4th inning. A leadoff walk to Finneran with Strelo at first base, or up at the plate right now. The count 0-1. Third baseman Shipley in tied at third base, thinking of bunt, as is the first baseman Hill. Now the next pitch, Strelo, there goes the runner trying to steal second. The throw's not going to be in time. She almost slid by second base, but safe that time is Finneran with a stolen base. So stolen base by Finneran. The count now 1-1 on Strelo. So forget about any bunt here now, I would think. Maybe not. Maybe you bunt her down to third. Let's see what happens with the number 5 hitter, Danielle Strelo, in the batter's box right now for Morrison. Strelo on the season hitting at .336. She does have a couple home runs and 31 RBI to her credit. Now the next pitch by Silkwood is on its way. 1-1. She's going to bunt and takes it on the outside corner for a strike, and the count goes now to 1-2. Strelo looked like he was going to bunt it, then pulled it back thinking it wasn't a strike, but it was a call strike anyhow. Count 1-2 now on the junior first baseman. Silkwood now looks in again, likes what she sees. Now the 1-2 pitch on its way, outside for a ball. Pretty good lead down there at second base is the runner in Finneran. No play at all on her as both Stack and Dunn, the shortstop and second baseman, get her back closer to the bag. Count 2-2 on Strelo, the right-handed hitter now. Squares around a bunt. Now pulls it back, and then she's going to swing away. Now the pitch is swung out and missed. One away. 1 out in the inning. 4 strikeouts now. Make that 5 strikeouts now for the freshman left-hander. 1 out in the inning, and Allie Hansen steps to the batter's box. The junior third baseman struck out her first time up. On deck will be Ashley Vector. Down at second base, Finneran with 1 out. First pitch going to be bunted on the third base line. That may be a tough play by Silkwood, and everybody's going to be safe. Now faking the throw and getting back to the bag that time at third base is Finneran, but a nice bunt that time by Hansen. Got by Silkwood, and then it was in no man's land, and nobody could make the play. So an infield single by Hansen. The runners on the corners now with 1 out for Morrison, and that brings up Ashley Vector, who struck out her first time up, trying to get her first hit of the ball game. And you got to believe Hansen will be taking off towards second base, either one of the first 2 pitches here in this sequence against the right-handed hitter in Ashley Vector. Silkwood now into the windup. Vector now pulls the bat back. Nope, she's going to let it bunt. Now there's a fake throw down to second, and the catcher will just hold on to it. And Militello going down to second base is Hansen. And once again, the count is 0-1 now on Vector, with Ammon on deck. So once again, second and third for the Phillies, and only 1 out in the inning. Now Silkwood's next pitch on its way. They're going to bunt it. Bunts it down the third base line. Silkwood fields it, and no play at all, and everybody's safe again. So a beautiful bunt that time by Vector, and that's going to be a base hit. So the bases are loaded now with 1 out for Morrison. That brings up the number 8 hitter in Morgan Ammon, who was a strikeout victim. Now timeout is called. Here comes head coach Dan Weidman coming out and say, hey, what's going on with these bunts? 2 bunts in a row for Morrison, and again, nobody has been able to throw anybody out. Has a conversation on the mound right now, as you see. Again, looking at the losses this year for these 2 teams. Alton Marquette coming up in the short end against Nashville, Highland, Pace and Seymour, Carrollton, and Quincy Notre Dame before yesterday's loss against Coal City 4-0. For Morrison, on the other hand, they were a ball club, I guess you could say kind of a Cinderella team, because they started the postseason with a 14-12 record, only a couple games over the 500 mark. Losses against Geneseo, Sterling, Rock Falls, Milledgeville Polo Co-op, Sherrard. They lost to Milledgeville 2 other times, Oak Forest, Port Byron Riverdale, Taylor Ridge Rock Ridge, Rock Island Alleman, and Lyle. And they also lost yesterday in their ball game to Johnston City 3-2. So the conversation is done with the infield and head coach of Alton Marquette and Dan Weedman. Bases loaded, 1 out for Morrison. That brings up Morgan Ammon. You got to believe the number 8 hitter. She's thinking of bunting maybe right now after 2 times in a row now. Alton Marquette has not been able to field a bunt cleanly and throw anybody out. 5 hits in the game now for Morrison. First pitch is a little low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0 on Ammon. Ammon, not a very big strike zone area up there at home plate. She's a tiny girl out there as he steps into the batter's box. Count 1-0 on Ammon, the sophomore second baseman. Silkwood back into the windup. Now the next pitch on its way. That looks a pretty good strike that time, and it is. And the count is even at 1-1. Ammon looked like she kind of a slap hitter up there, trying to get it through the infield. They're tied in the corners, thinking of possibly bunt coming up here. Now the 1-1 pitch on its way, and that's fouled off back to the screen out of play. And the count goes to 1-2. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning in our 3rd place game in Class 2A softball here in East Peoria. And right now, Alton Marquette leads at 2-1. Earlier today, Cobden won their 3rd straight Class 1A title, 2-0 over Lebanon. 3rd place United in 5 innings over Serena. 7-3 game was called because of wet field as it rained most of the morning here in East Peoria. Now the sunshine is out and it's turned out to be a nice evening. Got to count 1-2 on Ammon. Silkwood now back on the mound. Now looks in, trying to get her sign from Militello. Now the 1-2 pitch on its way. That's a line drive foul down the right field side. Just past the dugout area. Almost hit a couple of photographers over there. And the count now 1-2 on Ammon with Billie Jean Connor on deck.
You guys got to make that play.
Ammon trying to get the ball in play here to get that tying run in at third base. And Finneran. Silkwood trying for a strikeout here. Now the 1-2 pitch on its way. Off speed high. Sails out of the strike zone. The count goes even at 2-2. 2-2 to count. 2-1. Alton Marquette here in the top of the 4th. Game has slowed down quite a bit here. And this bottom of the 4th inning. But the bases loaded. 1 out. Count 2-2 in Ammon. Silkwood now back into the windup and a pitch on its way. This is a pop-up in the infield. It's going to be caught by the second baseman. Automatically, they're going to call the infield fly rule also. So the plate umpire right away calling the infield fly rule that time. That's Thomas Holmes from Victoria. But it was caught by the second baseman. So the batter would have been out even if it would have been dropped by Dunn, that is. But the runners can advance on their own risk. So 2 outs in the inning, and Billie Jean Connor steps to the batter's box. Connor, the designated player, hit into fielder's choice her first time up. So 2 outs in the inning. Infield back at normal depth with the bases loaded. First pitch to Connor on its way, and that's going to be a strike on the outside corner. The count goes to 0-1. Sam Sumption on deck. This inning started with a walk, a strikeout, then 2 bunt singles in a row. But now 2 outs for Morrison with the bases still loaded, nobody in. And Connor steps into the batter's box and the count 0-1. Now Silkwood's next pitch is on its way, and she takes it high for a ball, and the count goes even at 1-1. Top of the order, and Sam Sumption is on deck. I think Silkwood thought she had a strikeout there. She backs off the mound, now gets back on. The freshman now looks in again as they get the sign from the dugout. Now the 1-1 pitch by the left-hander on its way. A little pop-up. That's going to be falling in for a base hit. 1 runner's in. Here comes another one around third base, and Morrison has taken the lead as the ball hits the runner. Ricochets off the fence. Here comes another run trying to score. Here's a play at the plate, and she is going to be out. Trying to score the 3rd run that time is Vector, who once again came all the way around first base after that ball went off the body of the runner coming in, and Allie Hansen. But again, for Connor, that'll be a 2-run single coming up for Morrison. So once again is the 2-run single, but the 3rd runner is out after the ball hit again the batter, or make that the runner that time. They scored the 2nd run. So Finneran scores and Hansen scores. And once again, the ball got loose after the ball went off the body of Hansen, and then the runner trying to make the 3rd run score in that inning. Vector is thrown out at home, and that retires his side. But again, 2 runs come in as Morrison has taken the lead for the first time tonight. 2 runs on a total of 3 hits. There were no errors and nobody left on base. So at the end of 4 innings of play in our third place game, it is Morrison 3 and Alton Marquette 1. You're watching the Class 2A State Softball Tournament on the IHSA TV from East Peoria. Top of the 5th inning, and now a 3-2 ball game. Morrison takes the lead for the first time. Top of the order now for Alton Marquette. Alexis Silkwood, followed by Mia Stack and Trish Militello. And Christy Wiersman now with the lead for the first time here tonight. On the mound, the junior right-hander, 12-8 on the season. As she takes the mound and takes the first pitch, is outside for a ball to Silkwood, and the count goes to 1-0. So again, Morrison scoring 2 in the bottom of the 4th inning, taking the lead for the first time here in our 7-inning game. Now the 1-0 pitch to Silkwood, a little high for a ball. And the count goes to 2-0. Stack and Militello will follow. Top of the order here for Alton Marquette. They're looking for their 30th win of the season coming into this one. Now the next pitch on its way. That's popped up out of play. And the count goes to 2-1. 29-6 for Alton Marquette coming into this ball game here this evening. Morrison, on the other hand, were 25-13. We had some mistakes on the exact record coming into once again. We thought they were 14-12 when the postseason began, but they were missing 6 wins that we didn't have on our statistics. That was updated here today. So the count goes to 3-1 now on the freshman left-handed hitter in Silkwood. Catcher that time, Dieter, looking into the dugout, as does the other catcher for Alton Marquette. Has a high fly ball, center field deep, but not deep enough, as Sumption makes the catch, one away. So 1 out in the inning, as Silkwood just got a little bit under that one. First out, that'll bring up Mia Stack, the sophomore shortstop who hit a home runner last time up. As we mentioned, both catchers look into the dugout. The coaching staffs are calling the pitches that they want. Now you can look at the catcher, and Dieter looks into the dugout on the third base side. Now the first pitch on its way. Line drive. That's going to be a fair ball down the left field line. Cutting in that time is Bush, and going to be holding Stack to a single. Nice play that time by Paula Bush, the left fielder. Base hit. That'll be the second hit of the ball game for Stack, and a line drive that time. So she's at first base with 1 out, and that brings out Trish Militello. Militello 0 for 2 here. So we go to the top of the 5th inning. 3-2 your score. Militello now once again 0 for 2. Struck out her last time up. Kate Dunn will follow. She's 1 for 2. First pitch that time, a little low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0 on Militello. 3-2 your score. At first base is Stack with 1 out in the inning. Now Wiersman back in the windup in the pitch. That's going to be a little bit low again, and the count goes to 2-0 now on the senior catcher for Alton Marquette. Looking down the third base coach's box, head coach Dan Weidman, that is. Weidman, 16 years. Giving the signals to the batter. 2-0 count on Militello. Takes it high again for a ball. And the count goes to 3-0. I'm sure she'll probably have to take sign on now. As she gets back in the box with the runner Stack at first base. Wiersman's next pitch on its way. And that's going to be a call strike. Taking all the way that time was Militello. And the count now goes to 3-1 on the senior catcher for Alton Marquette. Wiersman back into the windup. The 3-1 pitch on its way. That is ball 4 high. And all of a sudden now Alton Marquette putting something together here with first and second with 1 out. So after a fly ball to center field, they base hit and a walk. And right now Alton Marquette with first and second, 1 out. Kate Dunn, the sophomore second baseman, steps in. She's singled and struck out. She's 1 for 2 here this evening. Bats in the number 4 spot here for Alton Marquette and head coach Don Weidman. Top of the 5th, 3-2 Morrison leads it here in this third place game in Class 2A softball. First pitch on its way, and that's going to be a call strike, and the count goes 0-1. Bailey McAvee, the freshman left fielder, on deck for the Explorers of Alton Marquette. Now the next pitch by Wiersman on its way, a little high for a ball. Count goes even at 1-1, and it's turned to be a beautiful evening so far with sunshine throughout the East Peoria area. We had a lot of rain earlier this morning with the third place game in Class 1A going only 5 innings. Next pitch on its way, and that's going to be a little low for a ball. The count goes to 2-1. It was United defeating once again Serena in that third place game, 7-3 in 5 innings. Game was called because the field was just too wet to play on at that time. Now the 2-1 pitch on its way, and that's going to be a call strike. Now quick throw to first base and a runner back in time. And Militello, count 2-2 now and done. They had to play on the secondary field next to the main field here that we play on in that third place game, and it also got too wet as the game went on. It rained pretty much about 80% of the time. Now the 2-2 pitch on its way. There's a line drive down left field line. If it's fair, it's going to be trouble with foul. Pulled foul. Almost hit one of the local fans down there in the area. Wearing a green shirt, probably from Coal City, who plays that game number 2 here tonight in the championship game against Johnston City. Count 2-2 on Dunn. First and second for Alton Marquette, with again 1 out only in the inning. Christie Wiersma on the mound, the junior right-hander for Morrison. Now back into the windup. The next pitch on its way. That's a little pop-up foul ball over the first baseman's head, and a diving attempt. Look out, almost a collision with Strelo and Ammon, the second baseman. Neither one can get to it, and the count remains 2-2 on Dunn. A little pop-up in foul territory over the first base side, and almost a major collision between two of them. And Strelo is a lot taller than Dunn. Dunn would have been taking the blunt of that injury if they would have collided. So the count 2-2 on Dunn. Ammon, the second baseman, that is, for Morrison. Now the next pitch by Wiersma. That's a little low for a ball. Now the count goes full at 3-2 now on Dunn. 1 out in the inning. Alton Marquette batting here in the top of the 5th. They've got first and second and 1 out. 3-2 count on Dunn. Wiersma looking for a strikeout. It would be her 9th if she gets it. And takes the low pitch for a ball, and the bases are loaded now as Dunn goes down to first base. So back-to-back walks. Loads the bases up with 1 out, and here comes, again, assistant coach out of the dugout for the Morrison club. And I believe that is Tiffany Tipton coming in off the bench and talking with, once again, her starting pitcher out there, trying to settle things down a little bit here. The bases are loaded, 1 out for Alton Marquette. Now we get a pinch runner coming into the ball game also for Alton Marquette. It'll be Claire Morrissey down at second base. So Militello will hit the bench for a little bit. She'll re-enter the game back in as a catcher, but Claire Morrissey is in the game now as a courtesy runner. So Claire Morrissey in the ball game, number 6, checks into the contest as a courtesy runner here for the Alton Marquette club. As it's now bases loaded and 1 out, and the conversation done on the mound. Bailey McAfee steps in, struck out a couple times in the ball game, 0 for 2. Infield in for a play at the plate, takes the first pitch, a strike, and a count 0-1. Kara Shipley is on deck. She doubled the last time up. 0-1 count on McAfee. Bases loaded, 1 out for Alton Marquette. 3-2 Morrison here in the 5th. Next pitch a little high. Call strike again, though. They say let her high, and the count goes 0-2 on McAfee. So the bases are loaded, 1 out, but the count 0-2 on McAfee, the right-handed hitter. Now the next pitch by Wiersma on its way, just missed outside. Count is 1-2. The catcher, Dieter, tried to bring it back into the strike zone that time and tried to frame it up for plate umpire Thomas Holmes. Count 1-2 on McAfee. Wiersma now looks in again. Back into the windup, the pitch on its way. Got her, swinging a miss on a low pitch that time. A big strikeout once again for the junior. 2 outs in the inning. That's 9 strikeouts in the ball game now for Christy Wiersma. 2 outs, and that'll leave it up to Kara Shipley to try to keep this inning going here. She has struck out and doubled, 1 for 2, so the base is loaded now. 2 outs. The infield goes back to normal depth. Now the first pitch by Wiersma on its way, and that's going to be a strike that time on the outside corner, I should say, and the count is 0-1 now on Shipley. Katie Hill on deck. 2 outs now in the 5th, and Morrison holding on to a 3-2 lead, but the bases loaded, though, for Alton Marquette. The 0-1 pitch, and that's a swing and a miss, and now she's got her going. 0-2 count on Shipley. Wiersma trying to get a strikeout. That would be her 10th. Whatever was said in that huddle apparently has worked. The count 0-2 on Shipley. Now the next pitch is on its way. Just missed. Yes, it is a call strike. Late call, but it is a call strike, and that retires her side. 10 strikeouts now for Wiersma in the ball game. So the base is loaded, 1 out, and Alton Marquette doesn't score. No runs on 1 hit. There are no errors and 3 left on base. So we move in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Morrison still holding on to a 3-2 lead over Alton Marquette. You're watching the third place game in the Class 2A State Softball Tournament on IHSA TV in East Peoria. On to the 5th inning. Morrison trying to get some insurance run here. They lead it 3-2. And for Morrison, it'll be the top of the order, Sansumption, followed by Marie Dieter, then Christy Wiersma. 1, 2, 3 hitters in the lineup for Tammy Dieter in her 16th year as head coach of this program. First pitch by the freshman Silkwood. Line drive, and that's going to be fouled on the left field line by Sumption, and the count goes 0-1. Sumption 0 for 2 here, struck out both times. Some earlier games now from the IHSA. Other sporting activities going on around the state. Class 1A state baseball tournament in Joliet. Third place game won by Lebanon. 7-3 in 5 innings over Downs Tri-Valley. Championship game, Westminster out of Elgin, a winner. 15-5 in 6 innings over Goreville. Next pitch on its way. Off speed that time, and a call strike. And the count goes to 0-2. Tonight in the Class 2A, this game probably going on now for third place. Immaculate Conception and Chillicothe IVC. Championship game has Teutopolis and Harrisburg. Silkwood looks in, gets her sign. Now the 0-2 pitch to Sumption, foul back to the screen, still 0-2. Class 2A Girls State Soccer Tournament at North Central College in Naperville. Third place game went to Wheaton Academy over Peoria Notre Dame 5-0. Championship game, Belleville Althoff defeated St. Viator 5-3. Silkwood now looks in again, back into the lineup. The 0-2 pitch to Sumption on its way, a little low for a ball. In the Class 3A Girls Soccer State Tournament in Naperville, third place game features St. Charles North and Glenbrook South. Championship game, Sandburg and Wabansie Valley. Silkwood now back into the windup. The 1-2 pitch on its way, got her. Swing and a miss, and Sumption gets the hat trick. She strikes out for the 3rd time here tonight. 1 out in the inning. And strikeout number 6 for Silkwood. 1 out, and that'll bring up now number 2 hitter, Marie Dieter, junior catcher. And in the boys state volleyball tournament at Hoffman Estate, semifinals saw Wheaton Warrenville South beat Manuka 25-23 and 25-17. First pitch is the ball to Dieter in the count 1-0. They'll play Chicago Morrison in the championship. They were a 3-game winner over Maine South, 26-24, 25-22, and 25-22. That's the latest what's happening around the state. Now ground ball hit to the third baseman. Fielder Shipley with a toss to first in time, 2 away. So 2 outs in the inning. That'll leave it up to Christy Wiersma, the pitcher, with a double and a fly out to center field. 1 out of 2 here in her performance so far. We're in the bottom of the 5th inning, and a 3-2 lead for Morrison over Alton Marquette. Stay with us afterwards. Again, the presentations of the trophies, 3rd place and 4th place in the medallions. We'll have it right here on the IHSA TV. Time is called. Wiersma steps out of the box, believing Silkwood took too long out there to pitch. The freshman at 28-5 on the season. Got beat last night by Coal City 4-0, and tonight right now trailing 3-2 to Morrison. Silkwood shaking off apparently what Militello and the coaching staff wanted. A timeout called again. So apparently Alexis wants to throw 1 pitch, and the coaching staff wants to once again call another pitch. Apparently the freshman may have the options of calling what she wants to throw, because she's throwing it. Next pitch is a foul ball, and the count goes 0-1. She may feel more confident of 1 pitch over another right now. 3-2 your score. 2 outs in the inning, nobody on. Kaylin Finneran is on deck here for Morrison. 3-2, Morrison up on top, the Phillies looking for their 26th win. Next pitch outside for a ball, and the count even at 1-1. Now back in the batter's box, Wiersma takes her stance in the right-handed side of the box. Now very slow pitch that time. Now fires it and off speed, and that looked pretty good from here. And it was a little low that time. The count goes to 2-1. She goes in that slow motion windup at times, trying to get the timing off of the hitter apparently. Wiersma now back in the windup. Next pitch by Silkwood on its way. Almost hit her that time, and it did. Went off her elbow, and she goes down to first base, not hurt, as she is hit by a pitch. So a 2-out runner at first base. Wiersma hit by the pitch. And that will bring up now Caitlin Finneran, the freshman shortstop, who has singled and walked. She is 1 for 1 here in this third place game. 3-2 Morrison in the bottom of the fifth. Now Silkwood for Alton Marquette, first pitch on its way. A little low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Championship game coming up about 7 or so, about 35-40 minutes after this game is completed with the ceremony between Coal City and Johnston City. Count 1-0 on Finneran. Next pitch by Silkwood is on its way. And that hit her that time. And that's, oh, did it hit the bat? It hit the bat apparently, hit the nub of the bat. So once again, that is a foul ball, and the count is even at 1-1. And kind of shaking her head was Finneran, saying, I can't believe that ball went off the bottom of the bat. So the count even at 1-1. Wiersma at first base with 2 outs here in the inning. 3-2. Morrison leads the bottom of the fifth inning. Silkwood now gets her sign from Militello. Now the 1-1 pitch on its way. And that is going to be a ball, a little bit high. And the count goes to 2-1. Some of the Alton Marquette fans didn't like that call, thinking that was a strike. Now the next pitch by Silkwood is on its way, and that's going to be high for a ball, and the count goes to 3-1. So Morrison trying to get a 2-out rally here. Hit by a pitch by Wiersma. Now the count 3-1 on Finneran with Danielle Strelo on deck. They lead at 3-2 here against Alton Marquette in the bottom of the fifth inning of our 7-inning game. Next pitch by Silkwood is on its way, and that's going to be a strike. Good pitch that time on the outside corner. The count goes full. Now at 3-2. The left-hander can bring it. Only a freshman out there for Alton Marquette. Now looks in, gets her sign. Now the payoff pitch is on its way. There's a ground ball knocked down by Silkwood. The pitcher on the mound throws off balance and gets her. Now she comes up limping a little. That ball hit her in the leg, but she is going to be okay as she runs off the field. Nice play that time by Silkwood to finish out the inning. She knocked it down with her leg and made the play at first base. In the inning, no runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base. We go in the bottom half of the fifth inning. Morrison in a tight game in this third place contest. They lead it over Alton Marquette, 3-2 your score. You're watching the girls Class 2A state softball tournament on IHSA TV in East Peoria. Once again, back here in East Peoria, a new pitcher on the mound now, as coming in will be Danielle Strelo, the first baseman. And going to first base will be the pitcher and Christy Wiersma. That's what they did last night. They just do it the opposite tonight with Wiersma starting. I think, if I'm not mistaken, let's looking at my book, and again, Wiersma leads with 10 strikeouts. Looking at the ball game with Morrison, I believe that Strelo went 5 innings, and that's exactly right. So they go 5 innings and that's it. So exactly the same strategy put together here by head coach Tammy Dieter. Now Strelo is in the ball game, and the pitcher goes to first base, and Wiersma, they just did the opposite last night. So she'll be facing the bottom half of the order here. Katie Hill, Mackenzie Youngblood, and Kaylin Biley. These 7, 8, 9 hitters coming up now for the Explorers of Alton Marquette, trailing 3-2. Some updated scores now in baseball. In Class 2A, third place game, Chillicothe IVC beat Immaculate Conception 6-4 in 5 innings. The championship game, it's in the third inning, and Teutopolis leading unbeaten Harrisburg 3-1. First pitch, a little pop-up in the infield. Finneran, the shortstop, makes the catch, 1 away, and Hill is retired. So Harrisburg came in with a record of 40-0, I believe, going into that game. They're unbeaten, and right now trail at 3-1 in the third inning. Also, we got no score with the St. Charles North Glenbrook South game, third place game in the girls 3A soccer tournament. And we may get some volleyball scores later on here as we go on this evening. So now they're finally getting the substitution after the first pitch was thrown that time by Strelo. And again, trying to get the save here for Morrison. Strelo came in with a record of 13-5 on the season as she enters the ball game, and doesn't have on their statistics if she has any saves or not, but she could get a save as she holds on to the lead here. We're in the top of the 6th inning. Alton Marquette once again leading 3-2, or Morrison leading 3-2. Now we get a pinch hitter coming up for Alton Marquette. It'll be in the batter's box. As taking the first pitch is a foul off is Rebecca Griffin. So Youngblood, Youngblood that is being pinch hit right now. It is again Rebecca Griffin. right-handed hitter. Now the next pitch by Strelo on its way. Maybe a little outside for a ball, and the count goes to 1-1. So Griffin, a right-handed hitter, only a freshman, coming into ball game here, trying to get a base hit on base. As fouls that one off to the right of home plate off the screen. And the count goes to 1-2 now on Griffin with Kalen Biley on deck. 3-2 your score here in the top of the 6th inning. Morrison up on top. Next pitch on its way. And that's a little high for a ball. Count even at 2-2 on Griffin, the pinch hitter for Youngblood. We'll check to see if she goes out to right field in the bottom of this inning. 3-2, top of the 6th. Morrison by 1 over Alton Marquette. Next pitch, and that is a call. Strike 3 on the inside corner as Griffin is caught looking that time. 2 outs in the inning. First strikeout in relief now for Strelo, and that'll bring up the number 9 hitter, Kalen Biley. Biley, the center fielder, hit by a pitch and struck out. She's 0 for 1 here tonight. So 2 outs in the inning. Biley stepping into the batter's box, the right-handed hitter. Now the first pitch by Strelo on its way, a little number foul. Almost nailed the on-deck hitter, and the count goes to 0-1 on Biley. 2 outs in the inning. And Morrison holding on to a 3-2 lead, trying to pick up their 26th win of the season. They're 25-13. 0-1 count on Biley. With 2 outs here in the inning, top of the 6th. Nice pitch on its way, and that's a ground ball foul down the third base line and down in the left field area too. And the count goes to 0-2 now on Biley. But again, Strela will have to face the top of the order if she gets Biley here in the 7th inning. Silkwood, Stack, and Militello if anybody gets on. Kate Dunn, so she'll have to face some good hitters before this ball game's over. Now the 0-2 pitch on its way. That's a ground ball hit to the shortstop in the hole, fielded by Finnegan. Long throw to first, got her. Nice play that time. Finnegan makes the play as she made a nice play in the hole that time to get the runner at first base to retire the side. So Alton Marquette goes down 1-2-3 in the 6th inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go in the bottom half of the 6th inning. Morrison holding on to a 3-2 lead over Alton Marquette in our 3rd place game. You're watching the Class 2A State Softball Tournament on IHSA TV in East Peoria. Morrison fans are happy right now. They lead at 3-2 as we go into the bottom half of the 6th inning. Youngblood back into the game in right field. We're entering now for Alton Marquette, but again, the Phillies fans know they're 3 outs away from a 3rd place trophy here in this Class 2A State Softball Tournament. It'll be Daniel Strelo now doing the pitching for Morrison, stepping in the batter's box. First pitch back to the screen and a foul ball, and the count goes 0-1. Don't forget, right after this game, about 7 o'clock, they said it should start, the championship game between Cole City and Johnston City. But again, right after this game, we'll have the presentations of the 3rd and 4th place trophies and medallions, so stay with us on that ceremony. Next pitch, it's going to be a call strike or not. No, a little bit low. And the count goes even at 1-1 on Strelo. Hansen and Vector will follow. 5, 6, and 7 hitters here for Morrison, bottom of the 6th inning, as they lead it here by the score of 3-2. Now the next pitch a little high for a ball, and the count goes to 2-1. Once again, 2-1 to count. Now the count goes to 3-1. As again, we're in the bottom of the 6th inning here, and again, 3-2 your score. Silkwood now looks in. Now back into the windup, and the pitch on its way. And again, a strike that time by Strelo, and the count is full now, 3-2. 3-2 count. Strelo leading things off. She's 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out and grounded out. Silkwood back into the windup, and the pitch on its way. Got a piece of that one as it goes off the glove of Militello on that foul tip. And the count full at 3-2. Again, looking at the top of the 7th inning for Alton Marquette, it'll be the top of the order. Silkwood, Stack, and Militello. Anybody gets on, done. So again, Strelo has a tough 7th inning coming up here for Morrison. Silkwood into the windup again. Now the 3-2 pitch to the right-hander, and that's fouled off again out of play. Morrison trying to get maybe an insurance run, maybe even 2, but the freshman left-hander Silkwood's got some other things on her mind right now, saying, I need to stop him right now and then give our chance of a team, as she puts a lot of dust on those hands throughout the day on that left hand that she uses. to throw that fastball and off-speed pitches. Now the payoff pitch by the freshman left-hander is on its way. And that's a little pop-up in foul territory. It's going to be caught by the catcher that time, and Militello near the on-deck circle. Nice play that time by Trish Militello. 1 out in the inning. And that'll bring up now Allie Hansen, the junior third baseman, who has singled twice. She is 2 for 2 here so far here this evening and scored 1 of the 3 runs for Morrison. So a nice night for the third baseman and Allie Hansen. Ashley Vector will follow. Silkwood now to the windup, and the first pitch on its way off speed. That's going to be a call strike, and the count goes to 0-1. Good look of Hansen there in the batter's box for the Phillies. Wearing that protection on her left leg, the front leg. Now the 0-1 pitch to Hansen is on its way. There's a ground ball hit to the third baseman. Bobble picked back up. Shipley's going to have to hurry, but makes it in time at first base, 2 away. So 2 outs in the inning. That'll leave it up now to Ashley Vector, the senior right fielder, who is 1 for 2. She has singled and has struck out. So 2 outs in the inning. 3-2 Morrison here in the bottom of the 6th inning. In our third place game in Class 2A softball for the girls here in the state of Illinois for 2010. All the action again right here on IHSA TV. Now first pitch to Vector on its way, outside and low for a ball, and the count goes to 1-0. Again earlier today, Cobden won the Class 1A title for the 3rd year in a row. 2-0 over Lebanon. Third place game, United over Serena, 7-3 in 5 innings. Game was called because of the wet field. Here it's the third place game in Class 2A. Next pitch on its way, and almost hit her that time. It is a foul tip. It did go off the end of the bat. So now the count is even at 1-1 on Vector with 2 outs and nobody on. It's the second time in this game the ball's hit the nub of the bat of a hitter out there at the home plate area for Morrison. Hammond on deck. Silkwood now looks in, gets her sign from Militello. Now the 1-1 pitch to Vector is on its way. That's foul jam shot that time off to the right side of the fence, and the count goes to 1-2. Beautiful facility if you've never been here before. East Side Center with the softball, baseball diamonds, football stadium, and also the swimming facility. 1-2 count on Vector. Now the next pitch by the left-hander on its way, and that is a call, strike 3 on the outside corner, and that retires her side on a beautiful pitch on the outside corner. 6 strikeouts now for the freshman left-hander in Silkwood. 1-2-3 inning for Morrison. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left. At the end of 6 innings of play, Morrison 3 outs away for a possible third-place finish. Your score, Morrison 3 and Alton Marquette 2. You're watching the semifinals earlier, now the third-place game in the Class 2A State Softball Tournament on the IHSA TV in East Peoria. IHSA, again, you see the banners that are around the facility here, welcoming to the East Side Center, an outstanding facility here in East Peoria. Combination of the city, school district, and park district putting this facility together. I believe they said it's the 10th year that they've, or 11th year, I could be wrong in that, 11 or 10 years that this complex has been open. Now the first pitch by Strelo to the leadoff hitter in Silkwood as the music continues to be played here. And the count goes 1-0 on Silkwood. Oh, we need a little music going on. Maybe it gets a little rhythm out there for Alton Marquette up there at home plate. Next pitch on its way to Silkwood and takes it high for a ball. And the count goes to 2-0. Silkwood is 1 for 3, singled into first. Grounded out and flew out her last 2 times up, trying to get on base. 3-2. Morrison leads it here in the 7th. Next pitch is high for a ball, and the count goes to 3-0. So again, Danielle Strelo in relief. Christy Wiersma went the first 5 innings, the second inning in relief here for Strelo. Now the 3-0 pitch on its way, and that's going to be a strike. And the count goes to 3-1 now on Silkwood. Silkwood's got good speed if she can get on base. Top of the 7th, 3-2 Morrison. Now the next pitch on its way. That's a line drive in right center field. That's going to get in the gap. That may go all the way to the fence, and it does kick down by the center fielder with her foot, but Silkwood is in there standing or sliding that time in with a double. Looked like she was going to stand up and then hit and slid. That ball was stopped by Sumption with her foot that time in center field. She used a little soccer that time to stop that softball from going to the fence, and then threw it back in and almost threw Silkwood out trying to get the double, but Silkwood saved her second hit of the game. That's the tying run now for Alton Marquette. And Mia Stack, who had a solo home run earlier tonight, is your hitter. Now she's going to bunt, and bunts it in front of home plate. It's going to be a foul ball, I believe. They're going to say that ball hit Stack in the batter's box, so it's a foul ball, and the count goes 0-1 on Mia. Trying to get that runner down to third with less than 2 outs. as Silkwood with a leadoff double here in the 7th inning. And now coming over, Coach Dan Weedman wants to talk to Stack, saying maybe you missed the sign. Maybe I didn't want you to bunt. Let's see. Because she did go deep back in the 3rd inning with a solo home run. She's also single, so she is, for tonight, 2 out of 3. Now the umpires are talking it over. I think the big question right now, did that ball hit Stack in the batter's box, or was she out of the batter's box when she got hit by the ball? Now, if she's out of the batter's box, she's out. And I think that's what they're talking about right now. The plate umpire made the initial call that time. And Thomas Holmes, Ted Knapp, and Chuck Gosnell came in, the base umpires. I think that's basically what they were talking about at the time. But again, Stack is in there, and the count is 0-1. Down at second, Silkwood. Pounding on the dugout is the Alton Marquette student section, trying to get a run. Now the ball's bunted. The fielder that time. Quick throw to third, not in time. Everybody's safe. Silkwood slides in, almost right on the bag. Hopefully she's okay. And that'll be a fielder's choice. Sacrifice bunt. Safe at first base is Stack. Going to third is Silkwood, and Silkwood comes up limping a little bit. I don't blame her. She almost slid right on the base that time. So she's going to be okay. And runners at first and third for Alton Marquette, nobody out. And that brings out Trish Militello, the senior catcher. She is 0 for 2 here tonight. Walked her last time up in the 5th. So here comes the Explorers trying to tie this game up. Runners on the corners with nobody out. Stralo's first pitch down to Militello is going to fake the bunt. There goes the runner going down to second base. There'll be no play on her. And now you've got the tying run at third and the go-ahead run down at second. And the count is 0-1 on Militello that time. And I think they're going to give her a chance to swing away here. The number 4 hitter up at the plate. Correction, number 3 hitter. Next pitch on its way. There's a ground ball right to shortstop. Here comes a play at the plate. And out at home will be Silkwood. Now quick throw to third and safe at third. So Silkwood is out at home on a nice play that time by Finneran. Fielder's choice as Militello that time is safe at first base. Out at home is Silkwood. Again, on a nice play at home plate by Finneran. Going to third base on the play is Stack. And still with runners at first and third now with 1 out. And that brings up now Kate Dunn. Dunn tonight is 1 out of 2. Singled in the first inning, struck out and has walked. So still the same scenario, first and third, but the only difference is that you have 1 out now. Alton Marquette was hoping Morrison would have a bad throw at home plate, but it wasn't. Finneran threw it right on the button that time to the catcher, Marie Dieter, and she was out by about a foot. So 1 out in the inning. Bases make that runners at first and third. Now the next pitch on its way. It is low for a ball. Runner is staying at first base at the present time. To count 1-0 on Dunn with Bailey McAfee on deck. Alton Marquette here in the top of the 7th trying to tie this game up in the third place game with Morrison. Stralo back into the windup. The 1-0 pitch. That's a little pop of foul off the screen. Count even at 1-1. Bailey McAfee on deck, the freshman. But Kate Dunn, the sophomore second baseman, is your hitter. Trying to get a base hit for the right-handed hitter for the Explorer fans to try to tie this ball game up. At third base is Stack. First base is Militello with 1 out in the inning. Next pitch, a pop-up. That may be out of play, and it is. It goes into the seating section for Morrison fans, and the count goes to 1-2. Stralo would love to get a strikeout here. That would be her second since coming in relief. This is her second inning in relief, trying to save this ball game for your starting pitcher, Christy Wiersma. 1-2 count on Dunn. Runners on the corners for Alton Marquette. 1 out in the inning. Stralo gets her sign. Now back in the windup. The right-hander brings it home. High for a ball. The count goes to 2-2. Why the runner at first base hasn't stolen second? I'm just wondering if they'd even play on her right now. That would be your go-ahead runner if you can get a base hit. But she's still over there at first base, and Militello. Let's see if she takes off here now. 2-2 count on Dunn. Next pitch on its way. Got her, swing and a miss, and a big, big strikeout. That was out of the strike zone high that time, and that is her second strikeout in relief, and now 2 outs. So Morrison is 1 out away from getting the third place trophy back in their own school. They won the football championship earlier this year in 2A. This would be their second trophy as a team this sports season. That brings up Bailey McAfee, who struck out 3 times already. First pitch is high for a ball, and the count is 1-0. So at third base is Stack. At first is Militello. 2 outs for Alton Marquette here in the 7th inning. They had second and third, nobody out at one point. Now it's 2 outs and runners on the corners. Next pitch high for a ball. Didn't go after him. The count even at 2-2. I'll make that the count goes to 2-0. 2-0 to count now on McAfee. Kerry Shipley, the senior third baseman, is on deck. Strelo back into the windup and the pitch. That's a high fly ball left field. This should do it. Under it is Bush, and Morrison wins the third place game. As once again the Phillies come up with 2 runs in the 4th inning, and it holds up as Strelo gets out of a jam here in the 7th inning to pick up the victory. In the inning, no runs on 1 hit. No errors and 2 left on base. Final score in our third place game here tonight. Morrison wins it by the final score, 3-2. Stay with us. We'll have the ceremony coming up with the handing of the trophy of third place and fourth place in the medallions. Again, you're watching complete coverage of the girls Class 2A state softball tournament from Eastside Center on IHSA TV in East Peoria. Morrison Phillies, your third place winner this year in Class 2A softball in 2010. A final record of 26-13. A 3-2 winner against Alton Marquette, who finishes out the year at 29-7. 3 runs, 6 hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. For Morrison, your winning pitcher, Christy Wiersman, the save goes to the final 2 innings. Once again, on a fine job by Danielle Strelo. And a tough loss again for the freshman left-hander in Alton Marquette and Alexis Silkwood as she finishes the season at 28-6. And again, they had 2 runs, 7 hits, no errors, and 9 left on base. The trophies and medallions will be handed out in just a second. And let's go to the field now and the presentation of the medallions and trophies.
Presenting medallions and trophies is Paul Whittington of the Illinois High School Association Board of Directors, representing Division 6. At this time, please meet the Explorers of Marquette High School, who finished the 2010 season in 4th place with a final record of 29 wins and 7 losses. Superintendent Principal Mike Slaughter, Athletic Director Jerry Montague, Head Coach Dan Sweetman, Assistant Coach Mike Goudart, Assistant Coach Derek Dempsey, Assistant Coach Casey Sheltwood. Number 3, Kaylin Filey. Number 4, Kate Dunn. Number 5, Katie Hill. Number 6, Claire Morrissey. Number 8, Alexis Silkwood. Number 10, Bailey McAfee. Number 12, Terry Shipley. Number 13, Trish Militello. Number 16, Megan Luzowski. Number 17, Mackenzie Youngblood. Number 20, Kelly Winkler. Number 23, Mia Stack. Number 25, Rebecca Griffin. Number 27, Courtney Lee. And team manager, Brianna Hook. At this time, please meet the Phillies of Morrison High School, who finished the 2010 season in 3rd place with a final record of 26 wins and 13 losses. Superintendent, Dr. Swellen Gerard. Principal, Corey Malima. Athletic Director, Gus Lake. Head coach Tammy Peter. Assistant coach Tiffany Tipton. Assistant coach Chelsea Dykma. Assistant coach Mike Bergman. Assistant coach Adam Smith. Number 1, Marie Peter. Number 2, Morgan Hammond. Number 3, Allie Hansen. Number 4, Keisha Hodge. Number 5, Katie Browning. Number 6, Danielle Strelo. Number 7, Mary Jo Connor. Number 8, Caitlin Wiebengay. Number 10, Ashlyn Winnicky. Number 11, Ashley Spector. Number 12, Sam Thompson. Number 13, Billie Jean Connor. Number 14, Paula Bush. Number 15, Mariah Napster. Number 17, Christy Wirtha. Number 18, Caitlin Finneran. Scorekeeper, Sue Sumption. Trainer, Trisha Dieter. At this time, would Coach Dan Weedman and the captains of Marquette High School please step forward to receive the 4th place trophy. And at this time, would Coach Sammy Peter and captains of Morrison High School please step forward to receive the 3rd place trophy. Congratulations to both teams on a great season.